Hi guys, Stacy Awino here. Welcome to your number one motivational channel. In this video, I wanted to share a bit about failure and how important it is for us to experience it in order for us to achieve success. And in my life, I've encountered failure a few more times than I would want to, but then they were very necessary for me to learn the lessons that I learned in order for me to get to where I am and to help me with my journey going on forward. And of course, everyone has a different story, and no one's story is of less value than the other. So this is mine and I'm sharing it my way, and I hope that by sharing this story, maybe someone out there will get encouraged and just be able to maybe face their fears a bit more boldly. Recently, there's a quote that I came across that really hit home with me, and it went something like, if you try, you risk failure, but if you don't, you ensure it. And how true is that? You may try and actually become successful, and sometimes you may not, but there's a lesson in there. So for me, all this began, say, at around the age of 16, when I started a business in my parents' house. What happened was, during the holidays when I was in high school, I would make ice and sell to kids. The ice that you make with water, sugar, citric acid, and food coloring, and then you pack them in these paper bags and you freeze them, and then you sell them at a shilling. Back then, I don't know how much they're sold right now. So in a day, I would make around 100 to 150 shillings. And then eventually I came up with this idea because I knew I really liked the taste of chocolate. So I thought, how about, instead of mixing just water and sugar and citric acid, how about I do water and milk and sugar and cocoa and sell it at 2 shillings and make it smaller but more costly. So that one made me a bit more money. So I'd make about 200 or a bit more at the end of the day. So it increased my income, and it got to a point my parents would be able to ask me to pay for some things and do shopping once in a while and help around the house. So without having a job, I was able to, a proper job, I was able to assist in the house. So I did that for a while, and then when I went to college, I stopped because I was away from the house most times during the day when the kids would come and buy the ice. So it just didn't make sense for me to continue. So I went to college and I did fashion design, and I always knew that when I finish college, I want to start my own fashion house. I had this idea about how grand it would be, and I was inspired with Valentino. There was once I watched Valentino on Oprah, and he was so magnificent, and his dresses were just lovely, and I just wanted to be like him. And there was this red dress that he showcased, and I was just like, yeah, I know this is it. I'm going to be like that. I'm going to have an amazing fashion house. But that did not happen. So at 21, though, my dad had retired, so he had a bit of money on him. And what he did was, he was able to support me to start my business. So he gave me a bit of money, and he told me, here, you can go and try what you want. And I had finished college by then, so I started a fashion house. At some point, I brought in a partner, a friend of mine from college, but the partnership didn't work out. I was too young, I had no experience, I didn't know how to manage my employees, I did not know how to market, I just had no idea how to do anything. So I really struggled with that, and I just at some point had to just close shop because money wasn't coming in. I was accumulating debt. I had to pay my rent. I was really struggling. So I closed down my business. And I remember when I was closing down my business, I felt like I had failed my dad for having believed in me enough to give me so much money to start my business. But I remember sitting down with someone and telling them, I believe if I was to get a job that would only pay me 15,000 shillings a month, I will go ahead and start another business. And that's exactly what I did. And God is so faithful, you know. I asked for a job that paid me 15,000, and that is exactly what I got. A job that paid me 15,000.00 cents. Be careful when you pray or when you mention God, you know. So I worked for a year in that job. It was a sales job. And immediately I got employed because I was earning 15,000 shillings. I was still going to college. I was doing a certificate in business. I would save 5,000 shillings every month after deductions, and then I would survive on the rest. And I would save 5,000 shillings, yeah, that's why I said, yeah. So at the end of the year, after 12 months, I had 60,000 shillings. What I did was I brought in my cousin and I told her, hey, I have this idea to start a design school. Would you be willing to come in with me? And she agreed, and she put in some money, and I quit my job. And I started my design school. And I remember the first day that I opened, I had one sewing machine, a really simple table, and an iron on top of it, and 2 chairs. And there's a lady who came with her husband. I was like, oh, she's brought her husband. He's gonna talk her out of it because look at what I have. And when she left, she gave me a check for 10,000 shillings. And she told me, I'm gonna be a student. I was 23. And I thought, how crazy is this woman? She believes in me. Did she have a look at the room? And she was my first student. And I went on to bring in another partner. And that's how my design school started, and it grew from there. I ended up achieving some level of success because I think by the time I was closing down the school after 2 years, I had about 120 students or more. I never really did the total sum of students. I was still learning. I didn't know how to do proper recording and all that, but I tried. But I had taught about 120, and some of them came from different countries. I had a Ghanaian student at some point. I had a South African student. I had, at some point, I think a Japanese student. And the courses that I was teaching were fashion design and jewelry and bag making and interior design. I did all that, and at some point the partnership just didn't work out. We couldn't agree on certain things, and I just felt like I was struggling, and we were falling behind on our bills, our rent, and I was struggling to just manage the students because I had to do almost everything by myself, and I was getting into really deep depression. And at some point my parents were just like, you know what, get back to school. This is not working out. And we just had to close down the business, and this one really caused me to get into depression more than the other 2 businesses that I closed, because the first one was quite informal. The second one was not really a trial, but it was something that it just started naively, like, this is my passion, let me see where it takes me. But this one was really something that I felt was a bit more organized. I had documents, I had a website, I had gone to radio and spoken about it. I had started speaking about entrepreneurship as a young person. So I was really becoming like an influencer, and without even knowing it, there was so much I had done within the short 2 years that I just felt like I can't just drop all this, but I had to. And I did, and when that ended, I really struggled with it because I stayed home for about 2 years when I was assisting my father with this business because I had nothing else to do. And you see, the thing about failure is there's so many lessons that you can learn from it. For me, some of the lessons were not to be afraid to try and to get out of my comfort zone because even the first time I went on radio, I remember I was so nervous I couldn't breathe. But then at the end of it, there were so many calls coming in of people saying, you know, I've been so inspired, I'm so motivated, I'm going to try and do the things that, you know, I've been thinking about doing, because you're so young and you're doing so much. Unfortunately, after I closed down my business, I kind of ran out of steam. There's something in me that died, and I wasn't so ambitious anymore. I wasn't a go-getter anymore. I was just trying to get by. Thankfully, I ended up getting employed, and I have a full-time job right now. But as they always say, you know, don't get to the point where you get so comfortable that you forget what your goals are. You could write in your spare time. You could teach in your spare time. You could, you know, always do something more. So I am at that point where I am searching myself, even as much as the things that I did before did not work out. I still feel like there's a lot more for me to do. And I'm at that point where, as I do these videos, there's so many things that I feel like, you know, this life has to offer that I'm chasing. And as I'm doing that, I feel obligated to just encourage other people to come with me on this journey. You know, whatever it is you feel in your heart, you need to do. I remember the last interview Miles Monroe did, and he did it in Kenya, I think, with Jeff Koinange. He was talking about dying empty. And for me, that's what failure is about. It's about, you know, when a child is learning how to walk, they must learn how to walk. And they will get up and fall, and they will hurt themselves. They'll have bruises and cuts, and they will probably break bones or something, get scars. Some of them are lucky not to, but they will fall several times. But learn to walk, they must. I'm trying to be poetic here. They must learn how to walk. And you see, that's the thing. Whatever it is God placed in your heart, whatever skill you're given, you know, the parable of what parable is it? The one that people, of the talents, you know. At the end of your life, you will have to come back and account for the talent that you're given. What did you do with it? Did you multiply it? Or are you the one who went and buried it and kept it safe so that you don't bring it destroyed? You don't even bring it, you know, bruised and battered and half empty. You know, you'd rather come with your glass half empty than exactly the way you were given, because you were too afraid that you'd spill it, that you'd spill what was in it, that you would fail. And when the late Dr. Miles Monroe said, die empty, write that book, sing that song, you know, start that business, I felt it in my heart. And for me, that's why I continue to strive, because I am one of those people who wants to die empty. I do not want to end my life with the skills that I was given, with the words that I was given, with whatever God placed in me to impact this world with. And I would challenge you to do the same. So do not be afraid of failure. Fail, learn from it, then get up and keep going, because that's just how it is. That's just life, and it is okay. So I am done with this video. I'm a bit fatigued from my medication, as I mentioned in the very first video of this really random series, that I am a bit unwell. So even as I record this, it is kind of, you know, I'm really exerting myself, but it is totally worth it. So if you liked this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And I do motivational speaking. I'd also like to mention that. So if you would want me to speak at your event, please get in touch with me on any of my social media platforms. You can also get in touch with me on Gmail at stacyawino@gmail.com. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate you listening to this, and see you in the next one. Bye.